Hi guys, today is going to be a video about your manifesting journey, the manifesting process, and what you might experience and moments of you thinking, am I thinking too much about it? Does this concept apply that you shouldn't be thinking about your manifestation constantly, you shouldn't be obsessing, and whether this is a myth or whether it's true. And I'm going to get into that today because I think sometimes people convolute law of attraction with law of assumption, so I'm going to explain all of that today. I'm done up a little bit fancy today because I've come back from an outing with a friend, so I thought perfect opportunity to get a video done. So I'm in a really cute new top, which there will be a fashion video about this if anyone's interested in that content as well. But do thumbs up and subscribe and turn on that notification bell if you'd like to hear more of these manifestation topics, my thoughts on it, my coaching advice and experience, because I have loads more exciting videos coming up in the near future. You can also become a member of my channel where you'll get even more exclusive, faster content, a few polls and ways to engage with me. So yeah, click the join button in the description box or right below this video. There's a little button as well that you can press if you would like to become a member. It's very, very cheap. I've kept it at the lowest price point, which is £2.99. And I also offer coaching, so you can do one-on-one coaching emails or video calls with me. Video calls is something new I've launched, so take a look at everything on offer in the outro of my video, in the description box. You can get all the information. And now let's start the video. So it's actually a law of attraction concept, which is I think where a lot of people might be coming from when they question, can I do this? Can I do that? Should my thoughts be like this? I've had clients question this as well. So it's always good to explain, give detailed examples, but I thought, let me actually do a video so people understand this a little better because yeah, a lot of you guys will already be able to differentiate the two concepts, but sometimes they can become convoluted. And for myself as well, I moved from law of attraction into law of assumption. So I went through a similar thought process where it kind of opened my mind and blew my mind when I heard actually Sammy Ingram, that was the first coach I started watching properly. And the way she explained things, it made way more sense. But law of attraction will dictate that you shouldn't obsess about your desire. And they don't necessarily use that wording, but that's the topic of this video. But also it can relate to just you thinking about your desire, constantly affirming for it, constantly trying to make it happen, right? That along those lines, law of attraction will state and dictate that that's going to push it away. That will repel your desire. You set your intention, you let it go, right? That's the whole detaching process for manifesting that way. When it comes to law of assumption and what is, in my opinion and my personal experience, the correct way to continually repeat it and think it until it becomes natural, normal, part of your thought process, part of your beliefs, literally. So it really doesn't mean that you have to detach or stop thinking about your desire. That is not what's going to create the result that you want. That is obsessing over it positively, which I'll get into in a moment as we get through this video, is not a problem at all. So obsession as a generalization to generally kind of define that phrase is to constantly think about your desire. So as I just said, positively obsessing about your desire could mean you constantly visualizing it, constantly looking for opportunities to think positively or speak to your friends positively about it. That sort of thing, to just be so motivated to create it and keep working on it, and it makes you so happy and excited that you want to work on it constantly, is a positive practice. So I will get into ways in which, of course, it's not healthy and it is a bad idea, but generally, if we generalize it as something positive, where obsession would mean you're just constantly thinking from the end result, that just means you're constantly thinking about having it, which is a form of manifestation and affirmation, because it's about repetition. That's what's really creating the result, whether it's through visualizing, seeing it as a image in your mind, or through the wording of you literally saying, I have XYZ over and over. Either way, constantly having it in your mind, let's say, is a positive practice. So when it comes to obsession, I know that is not the true definition of it, and I don't like to use that word because of course it has negative connotations. But if we're going to define it as constantly thinking about your desire in terms of, in the context of manifestation, obsession in that way is not going to harm your ultimate outcome. Because if you say, do you know what, I just can't stop thinking about being with my SP. I constantly think about the engagement ring on my finger, or me proposing to her, or whatever the case may be. If you constantly think about that, how could that possibly harm your manifestation? So to summarize, if it's you coming from a positive mindset, then it's totally okay. And if you're actually thinking about already having it and coming from the end result in context of the desire is already mine, I imagine it from the end result, I imagine it from the manifestation practices. So I'm constantly visualizing, I'm constantly affirming, I'm constantly scripting. My dreams are constantly have my SP, I always see the dream car I'm manifesting on the road, and then I constantly think about having it. That's a positive thing. So if it's you thinking about obsessing and constantly thinking about having it, there's no such thing as repelling your desire. You're actually creating it and cementing it in your mind as a belief. So when it comes to obsession, the negative connotations that we're getting into now is if you're thinking about circumstances. So let's say you're manifesting an SP, but you keep thinking about a third party or a breakup. That's you obsessing over circumstances and spiraling and doubting and thinking negative thoughts. That form of obsession when it comes to manifestation is, of course, you know, a negative practice where your mental diet should come in to fix it. I don't recommend it, and yes, that is harming your manifestation. Not preventing it or ruining it, because that's entirely up to you, but it's probably going to cause delays, hot and cold results, that kind of thing. So yes, if you're thinking about 3D circumstances and anything negative that would oppose you having your desire, that is obsession in a negative way. That is technically wrong and what you should try and minimize. Like I said, on the opposite end of the scale, in terms of you thinking positively about it, you never need to detach from your desire. If anything, you should be consistently thinking about it every day, multiple times a day as a minimum, you know, a little bit in the morning, in the afternoon, evening, however you can do it for an hour just in the morning and then just be on a mental diet the rest of the day, for example. That's also perfectly fine. But every day consistently until it materializes fully in your 3D reality, you should be thinking about it a lot. You should be thinking about having it, because it's the repetition, like I said, that is going to change your thought patterns, change your belief system. The only time you need to detach or stop obsessing is, like I said, if it's to do with circumstances, negative thoughts, or any type of doubt. As long as you're feeling happy and it is a positive practice, it's not causing any type of harm, it's totally fine to obsessively think about having your desire. You don't need to, okay? So I've said this in many videos. I'm not saying you have to have an obsessive routine. You don't have to dedicate your life to this, but you should be having somewhat of a consistent routine every day of being able to loop your affirmations. And if it makes you happy to have 1,000 thoughts a day about being with your SP or having your dream job, do it, you know? There's no harm in you mentally focusing on the end result, especially if it's positive and it's making you happy. That's totally fine. Now, one thing I've written down here is that as long as it's not affecting your physical or mental health, the obsession is fine. Now, like I said, the word does have negative connotations, so I don't really recommend, I don't use that word in a positive context typically, but I think when people say it, they're coming from the law of attraction idea of don't think about it more than once, you know, set it and forget it, right? So that concept is rubbish. It has nothing to do with law of assumption. You should set it and then repeat it 1,000 times, right? But as long as it's not, like I said, keeping you happy, keeping your mindset positive, and it's not affecting your physical or mental health, you can have 1,000 thoughts about being with your SP a day, every single day, because it's only going to help create the end outcome. Having said that, I just want to summarize before we finish up this video that you can also just think about it for 40 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, and then spend the rest of your day doing whatever. It doesn't have to be a all-day thing, but if you choose to do it that way and that's what works for you, that's also okay. So I hope that explains it and clarifies a few things for you guys. I was inspired to do this video after seeing a few suggestions and also just other people's videos. I thought this was a topic not that many people go into in detail. So if you enjoyed, do thumbs up and subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and I'll see you next time. Bye.